Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into 7 motorcycles that are truly a pain to own. Number 7. Indian Scout Bobber. The Indian Scout Bobber might look like something straight out of a rebel's dream, but owning one, that's when the fantasy quickly fades. It's a stunning troublemaker that turns heads at every stoplight, sure, but give it a few months, and you'll begin to feel like you've ended up with a moody showpiece rather than a dependable cruiser. Its engine is a liquid-cooled 1133cc V-twin that sounds great and pulls hard, on paper. But in real-world conditions, especially in city traffic, it heats up like a toaster left on high with no off button. Every red light will slow roast your thighs. Fuel economy sits in the low 30s, which wouldn't be a huge issue if the tank wasn't barely bigger than a soda can. And the suspension, you might as well be tied to a jackhammer. Every bump feels like a direct hit to your spine. Then there's the price, nearly $13,000 before you factor in dealer fees, taxes, and the endless list of accessories that should honestly come standard. A bike this stripped down shouldn't need a second mortgage just to get a windscreen or a passenger seat. In short, the Scout Bobber is all bark, zero comfort. It's rugged in looks, brutal in ride quality, and priced like a premium machine without delivering the goods. You're spending big on a bike that prefers Instagram photos over actual pavement. Number 6. Kawasaki Eliminator. The Kawasaki Eliminator tries hard to present itself as your sleek, urban rebel cruiser, but in reality, it feels more like it's having an identity crisis. It attempts to be too many things at once and ends up falling short in every department, especially when it comes to delivering comfort, usable power, or confident highway manners. The 451cc parallel twin engine is borrowed from Kawasaki's smaller bikes, fine for beginners or short city rides, but throw the Eliminator name on it, and expectations rise. What you actually get is a bike that sounds like it's constantly clearing its throat every time you twist the throttle. At highway speeds, it struggles, especially if the rider's heavier or there's even the slightest wind. The low-end torque is virtually absent, which defeats the purpose of a cruiser altogether. Coming in at around $6,900, it sits in a weird price zone, neither cheap enough for a spontaneous buy nor strong or well-equipped enough to justify skipping better alternatives. Some trims still don't offer ABS as standard, which feels like a relic from the past. And the seat. You'll swear it turns into concrete after just 20 minutes, making you look for reasons to stop riding. Overall, the Kawasaki Eliminator carries the cruiser title in name alone. It's like dressing a scooter in a leather jacket and calling it a rebel. Unless you're buying it solely for the beginner-friendly look, there are far wiser ways to spend your money. Number 5. BMW R18. The BMW R18 was meant to be Germany's bold reply to American muscle, but living with one is like owning a luxury yacht just to cross a puddle. It's massive, eye-catching, and built like it rolled straight out of a Berlin bunker, but the charm fades once you're stuck actually riding it. Under the tank is a 1802cc Boxer twin engine, yes, a Boxer, which means the cylinders jut out like sideways luggage. While it's got plenty of torque, navigating this beast at slow speeds feels like trying to dance with a vending machine. It shakes, lurches, and has so much weight down low that every U-turn becomes a sweaty ordeal. Add in a dry weight of over 800 pounds, and suddenly you're filming your own motorcycle blooper reel every time you park. The rear suspension is another head-scratcher. It's so stiff that every pothole feels like the rear wheel might have just gone missing. Price-wise, you're looking at over $17,000 before even thinking about the chrome extras or billet add-ons. BMW promotes it as a blank canvas for customization, but that blank canvas alone costs more than a fully loaded bike from other brands. Ultimately, the R18 is a stunning paperweight that's caught in an identity crisis, too heavy for the city, too awkward for touring, and far too pricey to drop without regrets. You're buying an ornament that only occasionally likes to move. Number 4. Suzuki Boulevard M109R. The Suzuki Boulevard M109R is the kind of bike that makes neighbors whisper, "Now that's a motorcycle." But after buying one, reality hits as hard as the torque curve, sudden, jarring, and not exactly comfortable. Powering this beast is a 1783cc V-twin that roars like a thunderstorm and launches like it's dodging gravity. On paper, it's a power cruiser. In reality, it's more like being strapped to a cannonball with handlebars. It's incredibly fast, but smoothness, that was never part of the deal. Throttle response is abrupt, the clutch is heavy, and maneuvering it at slow speeds feels like wrestling a stubborn bull. Steering is slow, cornering is sluggish, and parking lot maneuvers require a warm-up stretch. At about $15,000 brand new, the cost might seem fair, until you realize what you're sacrificing in rideability. It gulps fuel like it's going for a world record, and at over 760 pounds, it becomes a burden for everyday use. Maintenance doesn't come cheap either, and with Suzuki's vague future plans for the bike, parts availability is already a concern. Overall, the M109R is built for show and straight-line speed. It's loud, muscular, and all about visual impact. But if comfort, agility, or rideability matter to you, look elsewhere. This one's all brawn, no balance. Number 3. Royal Enfield Shotgun 650. The Royal Enfield Shotgun 650 tries to stand out as the stylish bad boy of the Enfield family, but beneath all the bold paint and marketing, it's a confusing mashup of styles that forgets basic functionality. It may look custom built out of the factory, but spend a few days riding it and you'll wish they'd spent less time on flair and more on fundamentals. The engine is the same 648cc parallel twin from the Interceptor and Continental GT, reliable and capable of around 47 horsepower. But on the Shotgun, it feels oddly underpowered. You can thank the extra bulk and quirky geometry for that. It's not sluggish, but it's definitely not quick either, and trying to keep pace on the highway starts to feel like you're wringing every last ounce out of it. The handling is another puzzle. Between the chopped rear end, low seat height, and balloon tires, it seems torn between being a bobber, scrambler, and cruiser, without nailing any. And here's where it gets tricky. You're paying nearly $7,000 for a Royal Enfield. That's a new price point for a brand built on budget appeal. Worse still, it doesn't feel fully refined. The switchgear is plasticky, almost toy-like, and owners have already reported quality issues just weeks after purchase. In the end, the Shotgun 650 is more like an art installation on wheels, unique, eye-catching, but not something you'll enjoy riding every day. It's all image, very little substance. Number 2. Harley-Davidson Sportster S. The Harley-Davidson Sportster S stormed in as Harley's bold reinvention, liquid cooling, high performance, and radical design. But the moment you own one, the applause stops and the awkwardness sets in. It was meant to attract a fresh crowd, but in doing so, Harley left behind much of what made the old Sportster so usable. At its core is the Revolution Max 1252cc V-twin engine, a real powerhouse with 121 horsepower. It launches like it's got something to prove, and you'll feel every bit of Harley's midlife crisis meets gym membership energy. But the throttle is twitchy, and the power delivery is abrupt. You're not riding so much as being yanked around. It hates going slow, so riding through traffic feels like a video game, with you as the controller. At just under $16,000, it commands a premium price, yet offers a ride that's confused and unforgiving. Rear suspension travel is nearly non-existent, and every bump feels like a debt collector. Forward controls paired with tall bars create a riding posture that's pure back pain. Forget storage, passenger comfort, or touring, unless you plan to spend more money on upgrades, none of that's an option. All in all, the Sportster S looks the part of a rebel and rides like a racer in disguise, but it charges like a luxury cruiser without delivering the joy. You're left wondering if you're buying the bike, or just the brand. Number 1. Indian Chief. The Indian Chief sounds legendary and sure, it looks like it was sculpted out of pure Americana with a chrome-dipped axe, but once you live with it, nostalgia slams right into modern inconvenience. It's big, loud, and commands presence, but also feels stuck in a loop where vintage looks outweighed performance evolution. The Thunderstroke 111 or 116 engine, depending on trim, delivers hearty torque, plenty to pull tree stumps or escape a summer storm. But torque alone can't hide the fact that this bike feels more like it was designed for parking lots than actual riding. The throttle is lazy, the clutch is a hand workout, and the whole bike vibrates like it's settling an old score. In traffic, it runs hot enough to toast bread, and agile handling. Forget it, it corners like an upright freezer on roller skates. With a base price starting at $15,000 and climbing well past that with basic add-ons, you'll start questioning what you're actually paying for. The tech feels like an afterthought, especially compared to other brands offering better displays and ride modes at similar or lower prices. Overall, the Indian Chief looks amazing in photos and sounds epic at ignition, but ride it for a while, and you'll find it's a dated experience wrapped in pretty packaging. Comfort falls short, and value even more so. And with that, We've come to the end of this video. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel for more content coming your way.